So whatever the items which is required by the customer, so it will be given in the form of a order copy. The order copy should be handed over to the dispatch department. A invoice has to be prepared by the organization or the business that has to be given to the customer. So what is this piece work records? That is the quantity of work what they have done in the organization. Based on that, the wages will be fixed. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidhyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Today we are in the 5th session of Unit 3, that is Internal Check and Internal Control. So my dear students, in our previous sessions we have studied about these two topics, that is Internal Check and Internal Control, and we were discussing about internal check of different type of transactions. So in a previous session, let us quickly recall what we have discussed. So in a previous session, we have discussed about internal check as regards to purchase. So we have learnt about internal check as regard to cash sales, and we have learnt about internal check as regard to purchase. So during these type of situation or in this type of transaction, how this internal check are made by an organization. So that we have studied in a previous session, that is internal check as regard to purchase. Of course, purchase and sale are common in an organization, right? So here an organization purchase certain goods and services. So during that process, so in order to reduce the fraud in an organization, so internal check has to be conducted. So in a previous session, we have learned how we are going to conduct that internal check as regard to purchase of goods and services. In today's session, we shall continue with new topic, that is internal check as regards to sales. Of course, as I have told you, it is common that purchase and sale are common in an organization. So there will be number of transactions which are going on daily on the basis of the purchase as well as sales of goods and services. So of course, in that type of transaction where the number of transaction is very huge, there are large chances of or greater chances of fraud as well as errors in an organization. So in order to reduce that, so this internal check is being conducted. So if it is not conducted, of course, there will be a loss for an organization, right? Or the financial position which is organization is showing may not be correct. So internal check has to be done properly in order to minimize these frauds as well as errors. Let us see what are these internal check as regards to sales. So what are the measures that has to be taken in order to reduce the errors as well as frauds in an organization? So sales are most important source of revenue in a business. So what do you mean by source of revenue? So here an organization can raise the money or increase their amount through various sources. Among this, the sales is one of the important source of revenue. In the sense, when the goods are sold, of course the organization will get money, right? So it is one of the important source of revenue in an organization, and hence the possibility of errors as well as frauds will be more. So there may be chances of errors and frauds during these sales. That is, it is a source of revenue. So as I told, there are number of transactions relating to sales takes place. So it is a source of revenue. So there may be a greater chance of errors as well as frauds in the business. So taking place are greater, frauds may be committed in the following ways. Let us see how this frauds has been committed in an organization relating to sales of an organization. So what do you mean by fraud? So fraud is nothing but it is an intentional mistake which is made by the employees or the personnel in an organization. So it is mainly made in order to cheat the organization or get the benefit of that. That is known as what? Fraud. Let us see how this fraud happens when relating to sales. So sales may be omitted from recording in the sales book. So certain sales, for example, there are 100 unit of sales which has taken place in a particular day. But instead of recording 100 units, they might have recorded only 80 units. So that 20 units of sales, so that amount on 20 units will be the benefit for the employees who have committed this fraud. So such kind of transaction where sales may be omitted. So certain transaction might not be recorded in the books of account relating to sales. So as I told, it is a main source of revenue. So when 20 unit is not recorded in the books of account, so that 20 units amount can be used by that person who have fraud the organization. Next, fictitious sales. So there may be or fake sales which is shown in the books of account. For example, fake sale of machinery is shown in the books of account where the machinery has not been sold. So such kind of transactions, fictitious sales may not be accounted or may be accounted. So here a fake sale will be recorded in the books of account. Next, sale of fixed asset may be treated as sale of goods. Of course, when there is sale of fixed asset, of course it is a huge amount, or through the sale of fixed assets we will get the huge amount. So that sale of fixed asset may be recorded sale of goods. So sale of goods in the sense what? It is a smaller amount, whereas sale of fixed asset, here the organization will get the huge amount. Or during such type of transaction where sale of fixed asset may be recorded as a sale of goods. So as I told you, sales is a main source of income. So such type of frauds can be committed in the organizations relating to sales. So in order to minimize that frauds, or in order to overcome the occurrence of such type of frauds, an effective system of internal check is required. Internal check as regard to credit sales is necessary. That may be in the following manner. So for this, or in order to reduce the fraud where there are number of transactions, there may be a chances of committing fraud when regards to sales, because sale or when the goods are sold, it is a source of income for the business. So there are greater chances of fraud. Let us see how this internal check help in minimizing such kind of frauds. So on receipt of the order, so here a customer have given an order. So on the receipt of an order from the customer, it should be numbered and the particulars entered in the order received book. So it has to be recorded in the order received book. So whenever the order is received from the customer, so it should be numbered and the particulars entered in the order received book. So whenever the order is received, immediately it has to be numbered and it has to be recorded in a particular book. That is for the reference. And the next is the order copy. So whatever the items which is required by the customer, so it will be given in the form of a order copy. The order copy should be handed over to the dispatch department. So we are speaking about a big organization where there are number of departments. So whenever a customer receives or from a customer receives an order, that is order copy has to be given to whom? Given to the dispatch department, who makes necessary arrangement for the delivery of the goods, or this dispatch department. So here order copy will be given to the dispatch department. So what the dispatch department will do? So it will arrange for the dispatch of goods. So when the goods ordered or ready for delivery, the dispatch department should inspect the goods with the order copy and enter the details of goods delivered in the dispatch memo. Now what you have to do here, the order copy is in the hands of dispatch department. So once the dispatch department prepares the goods to be ordered to the customer, then so that goods has to be rechecked with the order copy. So here a order copy will be there. Some goods will be there. So this goods has to be checked with this order copy. So whether whatever which is given by the customer, so the order copy which is given by the customer, same goods are ready to be dispatched or not. So you have to recheck that with the order copy. So it should inspect the goods with the order copy and enter the details of the goods delivered in the dispatch memo. So here whatever the goods which is being delivered by the dispatch department, so that has to be recorded in a memo which is known as dispatch memo. The invoice should be prepared. So here an invoice has to be prepared by the organization or the business, that has to be given to the customer. Now the customer have given the order. For that here the customer has to make the payment to the organization, right? So for that, an invoice has to be prepared. The invoice should be prepared based on the dispatch memo. So in the dispatch memo, it contains all the details about the goods to be delivered to the customer. So seeing that dispatch memo, an invoice has to be prepared. So using the or based on the dispatch memo in 3 copies. So here this invoice is prepared in 3 copies. 1 copy should be sent to the customer, that is who is receiving the goods, and the second copy to the accounts department, and the third copy should be retained in the sales department. Now, so once the dispatch memo, goods is ready to be delivered, a dispatch memo has to be prepared, and using that dispatch memo, an invoice has to be prepared. Now, invoice has to be prepared in 3 copies. 1 has to be given to the customer, and the second copy will be given to the accounts department, and third copy will be in the hands of sales department who is selling the goods. A responsible official should check the particular in the invoice. So as I told you, the invoice will be prepared in 3 copies. So a responsible official who is appointed for that particular purpose will check all the details of that particular invoice and also confirm the terms and conditions in the order have been duly followed, and finally put his initial on the invoice. Now, what an officer or the official will do who is appointed for that particular purpose, he will go through that invoice and he will see all the terms and conditions of dispatch of goods. So, if it is correct, he will put his initial in that particular invoice. The gatekeeper should record particulars of the goods leaving the premises in the goods outward book. Now, here the goods is ready for the delivery. Now what the gatekeeper will do? Now the gatekeeper will check all the details about the goods and he will record in goods outward book. So he will record all the details of that goods delivered in goods outward book. Who will record that? Gatekeeper. Next, the person who are responsible for preparing the invoice should not be allowed to post the entries in the customer's account. Now, who has prepared the invoice? So, he is not responsible to record all the entries in the books, that is in the books of account. So, one who have prepared invoice, there may be a chances of committing fraud. So, one who has prepared invoice might record the same entry in the books of account and there is a chances of committing fraud also. So, for that, the person who is responsible for preparing the invoice should not be allowed to post the entries in the customer's account. Here, one who have prepared the invoice should not be allowed to post the entries in the books of account. So, there should be a separate person, that is the person who have prepared the invoice and the person who is recording that entries in the books of account. At frequent intervals, the balance in the customer's account should be verified with the confirmations received from the customer. So, whatever the entries which are recorded in the customer's account should be confirmed with the order which is received from the customer. So, whether it tallies or not. That is the books of accounts which contains various types of transactions relating to sale to the customer, whether it tally with the order which is given from the customer. A responsible official should verify that only sale of goods are accounted in sales day book and sale of assets are not accounted. So here, an official has to check through that only sale of goods has been recorded in the sales account book, not sale of asset. So here there are a lot of difference between sale of goods as well as sale of assets. So it cannot be merged together. Of course, it is a sale of a thing, but it cannot be merged together. That is, sale of goods is different, sale of assets is different. So an official will be appointed in order to look that sale of goods is recorded and sale of asset is not recorded, because we are going through sale of goods here, right? So we have to check, or that official has to check, that sale of goods is being recorded and sale of assets is not recorded. And the next is, a responsible official should deal with customer enquiries, overdue accounts and writing of bad debts. Now, an official has been appointed to see through that whether the transactions have completed. So, whether it is fully completed or partly completed. For example, a customer pay half of the amount, remaining half of the amount is pending, right? So, for that, an official has to be appointed to see through that whether the organization have received full amount from the customers or not, or how much amount he has to be paid in the future. And the last step is an official will be appointed in order to check whether the transaction have been fully completed or not. So whether the customer have paid full amount, whether the goods have delivered completely, and whether the customer have given all the full amount or not. So how much amount is pending to be given to the organization. So for that, note has to be made by an official regarding the payment of that particular goods which has been delivered to the customer. So this is all about internal check as regards sale. So this process is followed properly, then of course 100% this fraud as well as errors can be minimized, because it is a step-by-step procedure where it is a systematic procedure also where this errors as well as frauds can be minimized in an organization. Now let us see what are the internal check as regards to wages. Of course, wages has to be given to the workers, right? So here also there may be a chances of committing mistakes or committing fraud by the foremen or the supervisors, that is by giving the wages to the workers. So during that situation, so how this can be minimized? So for this, an internal check has to be done. Let us see how internal check has to be done as regards to wages. So wages are important item of expenditure. Of course, the workers who work in an organization, for them the payment has to be made, so it is one of the important expenditure. The system of internal check for wages should be devised in a planned as well as in a careful manner. Of course, there is a lot of chances of committing fraud in this wages. So there are great possibility of frauds in the concern employing a large number of workers. So when the number of workers is very large, so during that situation or in that type of organization, there is a greater chances of fraud, that is while giving the wages to the workers. A sound system of internal check in payment of wages may avoid the errors as well as fraud which may be revealed from time and piece wage records. So by seeing the work of the workers, so this wage has to be given so that errors as well as frauds can be minimized in an organization. Now let us see what are the internal check as regards to wages. So how a proper wage system can be maintained in an organization by reducing the frauds as well as errors. So the following system of internal check may be adopted as regards wages. So the first one is maintenance of wage records. If there are number of workers, there may be a chances of having fraud. So what they have to do, they have to maintain a proper wage record. Let us see how this wage records has to be maintained by an organization. That is time records. So what is this time records? So depending upon the working hours, so this wage has to be fixed. Let us see what is this time record. So it is a record maintained by the gatekeeper. Now this is a record which is maintained by the gatekeeper who records the entry time as well as exit time of each worker. So of course, the number of hours spent by the worker in an organization. So that is known as what? Here the wage is measured on time. That is the time spent by an worker in an organization. For this, the gatekeeper, what he will do? He will record the entry time as well as exit time of the workers. Foreman, that is the supervisor of each department, also maintain records for time spent by the employee. So it doesn't mean that the work or the worker who have entry or the time of entry as well as exit, it doesn't mean that the whole time the worker have worked in the organization. So there may be a chances that he have simply wasted the time by entering the organization. For that, a foreman also maintains a record in order to see that what is the time actually spent by the worker in that particular department. So for for each and every department there will be a foreman or supervisor. So what is the work of that supervisor? He will record that the time which is spent by the worker by working in that particular department. So when wages are paid on the basis of time spent by the worker, the record maintained by the gatekeeper. Of course, I have told you here, gatekeeper also records the entry time as well as exit time of the worker. At the same time, the foreman of each and every department will also maintain a record in order to see through that what is the actual time spent by the worker in working in that particular department. So here, the gatekeeper and record maintained by the foreman of each department are summarized. Now here they are going to compare the records of gatekeeper as well as foreman, and they will decide the wages that has to be given to the workers. Next is piecework records. So what is this piecework records? That is the quantity of work what they have done in the organization. Based on that, the wages will be fixed. So this record is maintained by the foreman, that is the foreman or supervisor of a particular department, who records the actual work done by each employee or worker. So what is the actual work done by each and every employee or worker? So each person is provided a job card. So here under this piecework records, each employee or the worker will be given a job card who records the work done by him. So they will record the work, actual work done by the worker. Finally, the record maintained by the foreman and the job card are used in determining wages. Here they are going to compare the foreman or the record of foreman as well as the job card which is maintained by the worker or employee. Now under piecework record, whereas in earlier on the basis of time, what is the actual time spent by the worker? So on the basis of that, the wage will be fixed. Whereas in piecework records, so here the work will be allotted where a foreman will be going to maintain a register, record the work of a worker. On the other hand, the foreman will be given a job card. So under that job card, the worker will record his work. So at the end of a particular month, so that job card will be compared with the register of the foreman. So based on that, the wages will be fixed. And the next one is overtime record. So if any worker have worked more than the working hours, that is known as overtime. So for them, so extra amount will be given as wages. Let us see how this overtime records are being maintained in an organization. So overtime should be sanctioned in advance by a responsible person. So it is sanctioned in advance by a responsible person who is concerned to that particular activity. So employee should be issued overtime slip. So here what they will give? So they will give the overtime slip bearing the name and number of the worker. So for each and every worker who is working overtime, for them they will give a overtime slip. So which contains the name and number of workers. Such slip should be issued and initialed by some responsible official. At the end of the week, such slip should be sent to the wage office. Now what they will do? So for each and every worker, they will have a overtime slip. So that overtime at the end of every week, that overtime slip will be given to the wage office and they will verify that overtime slip and they will decide the wage of an worker. Next is pass out records. Now what is this pass out records? The worker should not be allowed to leave the factory without the written permission. So without any written permission, a worker is not allowed to leave the factory. So for this, a pass out slip is issued to the worker by the same authority. Such slip are handed over to the gatekeeper. The wage office should be given a copy of it. Now what happens? For example, if a worker works for 30 days and if a worker works for only 25 days and 5 days, he is out of the gate. That is, he is out of the organization. For both of the workers, we can't give the same amount of wages. So a person might have left the organization in between, that is in between of a particular day. So for that, what they will do in order to check that, so if a worker have went out and if he blames that he has worked in an organization, so in order to reduce that, what they will do, so here a worker, if he is going to leave the organization, so he has to give he has to write a written permission from a concerned authority. So for that, they will give a pass out slip. Now, what is this pass out slip? Whenever a worker is going out of the organization, so he will be given that pass out slip, which has to be given to the gatekeeper. So when he is going out of the factory or out of the organization, so this pass out slip has to be given to whom? To the gatekeeper. Now, at the end of every month, that is during providing of this wages, so this pass out slip will be given to whom? Given to the wage office. So they will keep a copy of it and they will see through that what the wage has to be decided to a particular worker who has gone out of the organization in between. Next is preparation of wage sheet. So till now we have seen how the wage has been decided or has to be decided to a worker. Now let us see how this wage sheet has been maintained. So the wage sheet should not be prepared by one clerk alone. So here the wage sheet is not going to be prepared by one clerk alone. So here how they are going to prepare the wage sheet? A set of clerks will join together and they will collect the documents from gatekeeper as well as concerned department and wage office, and they will verify all the documents relating to a particular worker. So wage office and inquire about the difference, if any. The following points should be taken into account. Let us see if they find any difference, what they are going to do or how they are going to calculate or how they are going to prepare the wage sheet. So here what you have to remember, so here wage sheet is not prepared by one particular person. A set of persons will join together and they will prepare this wage sheet. So for preparation of wage sheet, what they have to do, they have to collect documents from gatekeeper, concerned department as well as the document which is there in the wage office. So all these three has to be compared properly. If there is any difference, so they have to take initiative measures. Now let us see on the basis of what they are going to decide or on the basis of what they are going to prepare the wage sheet. That is, the first one is base. The wage sheet should be prepared with the help of attendance register. Let us see what are the base, what are the important document which is required in order to decide the wage of a particular worker in order to prepare the wage sheet. So they should have a attendance register, overtime slip as well as pass out slip. So attendance register is nothing but what? Which contains the attendance of a particular worker, and overtime slip. So if any worker have worked overtime, so other than the normal time, if they have worker or if they have worked extra time, so it will be contained in the overtime slip and pass out slip. In between of the work, if any worker have left the organization, so on the basis of these three, this wage will be decided. Next, separate sheets. So separate wage sheet should be used for time workers as well as piece workers. So a separate sheets, that is wage sheet, has to be prepared for whom? That is time workers. That is the worker who is there in the organization. So based on the number of times, the wage has to be decided. Whereas in piece worker, what is the actual work done by the worker? So that contains under piece workers. For these time workers as well as for piece workers, a separate sheet has to be prepared. Next, checking. The wage sheet should be inspected and countersigned as correct by the work manager as well as foreman. Now, here a complete detail has to be checked and it has to be signed by who? By the work manager as well as the foreman of a particular department. Next, signature. So the wage sheet should be countersigned by those employees who has prepared it. So I have told you here the wage sheet is not prepared by a single person. So it is prepared by a group of persons. So all the persons who have included in the preparation of wage sheet, so they have to sign it properly. That is, number of employees who have involved in the preparation of wage sheet, so they have to sign the wage sheet. Next, approval. So each and every wage sheet should be approved by factory manager or managing director. Now where they are particularly working, where the workers is particularly working, so their head has to give the approval. So here the approval can be given by a factory manager or the managing director of that particular organization. Now let us see. So we have learnt how the wages has to be calculated, how the wage sheet has to be prepared. Now let us see how the payment has to be given to the workers. So the person who is in charge for the payment of wages should not have connection with the preparation of wage sheet. So here those who have prepared the wage sheet should not be allowed to provide the wages to the workers. So here the one who have prepared the wage sheet is totally different and one who is giving the wages is totally different. So there should not be any connection who is in charge for payment as well as one who have prepared the wage sheet. Next, each worker should be asked to receive the wages personally. That is, each workers have to receive their wages personally in the presence of his foreman. So on the presence of the supervisor of a foreman of a particular department, in front of them only each and every worker has to receive their wages. Next, no payment is made to someone on behalf of a worker who is absent. So if a worker is absent, then on behalf of that worker, no other worker can receive the wages in an organization. Wage payment should be made by cash department, not by other person. So here wage payment is made by whom? By the cash department. The amount of wages for each employee should be placed in envelope bearing the name and number of the person. So here that wage has to be given on an envelope to each and every employee. Next, special arrangement should be made for the payment of absentees. So those who have absent, so if they have not received the wages, for them special arrangement has to be made in order to give that wages to that particular worker. Next, exact amount of money should be drawn from the bank for the payment of wages. So for example, if the total payment of wages is 10 lakh, then exact 10 lakh has to be drawn. Not extra amount or not less than that amount. So a particular amount has to be drawn depending upon the total wages that has to be given to the workers. So there will be no misappropriation of cash if the exact amount is withdrawn. Next, advance to workers should be discouraged as it becomes unavoidable. So they should be given through the petty cashier. So here, if any advance that has to be given to the worker, so it has to be given from the petty cash, that is from the impressed amount of the organization. Next, if casual workers are also employed in the factory, a separate record should be maintained about them. Now, what do you mean by casual workers who are not permanent workers of that particular organization? For time being, they might have come from outside to work in an organization if there is more requirement of more number of workers. So, they are known as what? Casual workers. So, if there is any casual workers who are not working every day, for time being, they have come to work in an organization. For them, a separate worksheet has to be prepared. It should not be combined with the normal workers who are working daily in an organization. Next, undisbursed wages should be deposited immediately into the bank. So if any amount is left or if any amount is not used in the payment of wages, so it has to be deposited immediately into bank. Or else, for example, if rupees 5 lakh has been withdrawn and rupees 4,90,000 only it is been used. Right? So remaining amount has to be deposited immediately into the bank, or else that amount can be, or there may be a chances of misappropriation of that remaining cash. So this is all about internal check as regards to wages, where we learned how we are going to calculate wages, how to prepare wage sheet and how to make payment to the workers. So my dear students, in today's session we have learnt internal check as regards to sales as well as internal check as regard to wages. See you all in my next session. Till then, take care. Thank you.